with a little game we like to call one and done or Super Bowl run. Brock, we begin with you. Broncos, are they a one and done or Super Bowl run?
I think more likely to go on a run are the Broncos. Sean Payton has been through this before. He really wants to go through it again and be the first coach ever to win the Super Bowl with two different teams. He has kept the players focused on their goals all along, the one seed, how to get that, the division, how to get that. Certainly the Super Bowl part of that as well. I don't know if they'll make it, but I think they win a couple games.
Louis Riddick, the 49ers, one and done or a Super Bowl run for Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah, I'm going to reluctantly say it's going to be one and done. And it's not because of the guy who you see on your screen right now. I'm the biggest Brock Purdy fan that there is. This guy is playing lights out as far as decision-making accuracy, pushing the ball down the football field, and really maximizing every opportunity. But it's the defense, inability to rush the passer, the simplicity of the scheme that they have to run because of all the different moving parts that they have right now. As the competition ratchets up, once we get into the postseason, that can become a problem.
Jeff Saturday, the Chicago Bears, one and done or Super Bowl run?
Super Bowl run.
Do it. Do it then.
Again, I don't love their defense. Their defense is very opportunistic. Here's the deal. Ben Johnson does a fantastic job creating runs and explosive runs. They lead the NFL in 10-plus yard runs, which is massive. We know that can flip playoff games, low risk, high reward. And, oh, by the way, he's got Caleb Williams the last 2 weeks, y'all, done the two best balls all season. So when you get a quarterback feeling that he's feeling and you can run the rock, get a couple turnovers, hey,
tell me about it.
I like it.
Let's get the vibes up. On the table, everyone right now, Courtney Cronin, Bears reporter, kind of join us.
Never had a welcome like that.
Are we the Spurs?
We're trying to get the Wemby thing going. Yeah, let's go.
The knockoff Skull champ.
Let's go. I want you to take your notebook and I want you to empty it right here for us right now. Tell us why, especially for everyone at home right now watching, why Caleb Williams is thriving under Ben Johnson.
I think it's the relationship, and we know how intentional Ben Johnson has been at coaching him as hard as he can and overloading his plate. I mean, there were times in training camp where it felt like, I remember coming on here in August, we're talking about Caleb missing, remember the net?
Yeah.
He was throwing it and he missed it all, and we're like, okay, something's wrong. No, there was an intentionality here to overload his plate and then dial it back. And that's the relationship part where Ben Johnson said, I'm going to coach you as hard as I can. I'm going to give you everything, every tool that you need to succeed. And while building that relationship between play caller and quarterback, there was a level of trust there that didn't exist last year that now exists. And I think back to a time, Washington week 6, so right before halftime, there's a design run for Caleb Williams. They score a touchdown. Caleb was thinking through his mind, like, this play is not going to work. Ben Johnson on the headset's like, watch, I've got a good play call here. The phrase I keep using this year is proof of concept because he scores on that. And then Caleb gets to see, okay, this is a coach who's putting me in the right position, who's giving me exactly what I'm asking for, and is holding me accountable. And I thought Caleb yesterday was talking about the relationship and how it's evolved over time. He said that it was in a fragile place early on. He wasn't sure his head coach even liked him, which, I mean, you hear that from the quarterback, and that was months ago. Yeah. The time that those two have spent together, they're in the building. When they're in the building every single day, there is one-on-one time that they get that is benefiting him because he's able to voice his concerns about things that are going wrong. He's able to pick and choose his spots with the play call, saying, I like this one, I might not like this one, I want to do more of this, I want to do less of that. And so there's an ownership factor there that Ben Johnson is empowering him to have over this offense, and I think it truly is translating into the confidence that you see from this quarterback in the game's biggest moments, because we know he can make every throw. It's getting empowered into that position to do that.
We have seen tremendous growth, but obviously not perfection yet. Where are the concerns? Where are some of the inconsistencies?
The inaccuracy, I think, is still, it's not the biggest thing. It's died down the last couple of weeks, and there are a couple of reasons for that. But the accuracy issues that he's had over this season are notable. He's 32 out of 33 qualified quarterbacks in completion percentage. Those are things that will get fixed in the offseason when you tweak his mechanics a bit in certain areas. But the big throws, I mean, Jeff mentioned it, the two that he had in the last game against the Green Bay Packers, and you think the last 2 to 3 weeks, the touchdown to Olamide Zaccheaus in the corner of the end zone in Green Bay, the completion probability of that was so absurdly low. Caleb makes that throw. The one to DJ Moore when he's going off schedule and throws in between two defenders as he's almost out of bounds. And then last week, delivering the game-tying touchdown to a wide receiver who had his first snaps ever last week in Jade Walker, and then the 46-yarder DJ Moore in overtime. Like, the thing that impresses me the most about that throw, the kill shot they took, that was first and 10. First and 10. 13 personnel, perfectly blocked, giving Caleb Williams the time to then put his hands back into his muff as he releases that throw. The confidence of a quarterback like that to make a throw that only he can make, and a receiver to take. I mean, the thing that I like the most about that, I love poetic justice. Who was the cornerback who picked him off in Green Bay 13 days prior? Keyshawn Nixon. Who was the cornerback in coverage there? Keyshawn Nixon.
Yeah, and he hit him in the back, too.
Playoffs, too. Let's drill down on some of that a little bit more.
Yeah.
You've got 2 plays from that Packers game that you can talk us through that shows us just how much progress he's made this year.
Yeah, really, it's the first play of the game and then the last play of the game. The first play of the game really speaks to the ways in which Ben are kind of teaching him progression reading. And this is the first throw of the game. He gets to number 4. Look at his eyes here. It's 1, 2's not there. Okay, now coming back, 3's not there, 4. And you know what? So as the clock gets past 2.5 seconds, his QBR has actually ramped up from a year ago, which is incredible. Here, this throw here, look, his QBR versus pressure this year, he's top 4 in the NFL. He's top 5 in QBR against the blitz. He's top 4 in the QBR in the fourth quarter. So as Courtney is mentioning, all of the high pressure situations, he's delivering. Are the raw numbers exactly where you want them, whether it be CPOE or just regular completion percentage? No. But they will ramp up. But the game is always about situational football. In situational football, Caleb Williams right now is killing it. This is the last guy you want to see when the game is on the line. Those 2 plays show it.
Graz, in what area are you seeing the most improvement?
So I remember Ben Johnson talking at the owners' meetings about Caleb Williams and saying, basically, I'm not quoting directly, but basically the message was like, great, you didn't throw a bunch of interceptions. But there's a lot of negative plays that aren't interceptions, and let's get some of them ironed out, right? Caleb has 11 more throwaways than sacks. He has 34 throwaways and has taken 23 sacks. Last year, it was 37 to 68. So obviously he knows when it's the wise move to give up. And I think that's a significant step that he's seen. I mean, you're seeing it obviously every week, but I think that's a significant step that we've seen. The throw to win the game is otherworldly. It is the reason we watch sports, is to see human beings accomplish things like this. That's awesome that he can do that. But I think what's putting him in a position for that to matter is the littler things that are happening along the way.
And just think about the effect that this has on the rest of the football team, right? There are some teams that have quarterbacks that when the game kind of gets tight and or you're operating from a severe deficit, you're sitting there going, look, if we're a defense, we're sitting on the sideline going, dog, we don't have no shot. This guy ain't going to bring us back. In Chicago, they're going, just give us a chance. Because this guy is different. And that empowers people to keep fighting and stay in there in a way that you can't really measure statistically. And I think that's what you're seeing happen, too.
You see these guys as legit Super Bowl contenders.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, when you have, again, and I get the completion percentage, and Graz just made a little bit of a point here. Let me just say, there are things in the NFL that are drive killers. Sacks are them. And when you avoid sacks because of completion percentage, it matters. And we can beat them up. We can beat. Really, all that stuff to me is, it's to your point, it's when moments matter. And he has come to life. But the truth is, Ben Johnson has done a fantastic job, not only for Caleb Williams, but for the offensive line, for the running backs, for the receivers. I mean, he puts everybody in position to do their job and be excellent at it. And when you feel like all you got to do is look at the other team he left and go look at Detroit and look at the fall off you've had there, and you realize it doesn't just impact the quarterback. It impacts 10 other guys and the quarterback, and that's why they're sitting in the seat they are.
Last word.
I mean, you bring up the offensive line. I keep talking about that word intentionality. The first thing that Ben Johnson does, his first move in free agency, flip the entire interior. You get 2 Pro Bowlers out of it yesterday in center Drew Dahlman and left guard Joe Tooney. And that's why the sack number has gone down for Caleb. 68 a year ago. And it's not just the offensive line. Obviously, they play a huge role in it, but his ability to escape out of things that just make you stand there like, how did he do that? Like, it's the sack avoidance is, I think, a very big part of why this offense has been able to stay as on track as they have this year.
And now some content specifically for Jeff Saturday, over 52.5 in the game between the Niners and the Bears. You've seen that Niner defense.
Write that one down.
The Bears are going to be able to hang a number on them, and the Niners and Brock Purdy are going to be able to hang a number on them.
We call that the best bet of that game.
Hey, slide that in there.
Just put it in.
Dan, thanks for making a little bit of a point.
This is what we do well around here. Jeff-INTELY or Jeff-INTELY not, beginning with Trevor Lawrence. Jeff, Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback right now. Jeff-INTELY or Jeff-INTELY not?
First of all, emphasize right now. And say definitely.
Wednesday morning.
Listen, this dude has lit it up. The last 3 weeks, he's playing MVP-style football. Think about this. on third down. 99.9, 99.9, 96.5 the last 3 weeks. The perfect score is 100, y'all. He is playing out of his mind. Obviously, a massive win in Denver last week. This guy is playing it. AFC better be put on notice.
Lewis, you see it the same way?
Yeah, I do. Look, I mean, over the past month, Trevor Lawrence has hit the sweet spot. Look, Liam Cohen, hat tip, man, because you have him locked in right now.
Amen.
This football team's as dangerous as any in the NFL.
It's unbelievable. You think about like what they are heading into the playoffs, having just gone into Denver and ended an 11-game winning streak. Like it's not fluky. When you look at the progress Trevor Lawrence has made in this offense as the season has gone along, there is reason to believe it's legit.
This is why patience with quarterbacks is a must. I remember the conversation surrounding Trevor Lawrence. I remember sitting across from him over there in London, and you're sitting there going, man, he just doesn't seem to like really have the answers within him.
And look,
Yes,
I mean,
does.
it could go back down and back up
You're right.
again. Right,
but
right
patience,
now,
though, patience with the young quarterback.
and the confidence is coming from the success they're having right now. That's
no doubt.
All right, so that's the operative word, patience. Let's move to number 2. If the Giants get the top pick, they should draft a quarterback. Definitely or definitely not?
Definitely not. Look, I've criticized Jackson Dart for, taking too many unnecessary hits, all those kind of things. You'd much rather dial a guy back than have to push a guy forward, especially the franchise quarterback. I mean, you're building your team around him. You have Scattaboo, you got neighbors who are going to come back. Look, this kid's going to be good in New York. Give him time. Again, patience matters. Do not go try to fix a problem that's not there. He's played well when he's on the field. It's just the unnecessary hits that have accumulated.
Any concern about his regression down the stretch here?
Not at all. Look, in last week's game against Minnesota, his first 3 passes were dropped, and then he had another one dropped in the fourth quarter. I mean, they were flat out dropped. There were the kind of throws that his receivers have to come down with. Look, this kid has made it the right stuff, both in terms of his football personal character, his skill set on the football field. He has plenty of football horsepower as far as his mental capability. He's got it all. They have just got to set the table around him, because right now it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's an absolute mess. It's like the kids section at McDonald's right now, the table that's set around it.
Graz, speaking of which,
like the play place.
Yeah, you know how it looks.
That's a little bit. You don't want to go.
Don't ever look at the floor.
Don't look at that.
floor. Yeah.
Who should they be targeting for their next head coach if they want to get this thing?
They got to find Jackson Dart, his Ben Johnson, his Liam Cohen, whoever that guy is that can work with him and get him like Brian Daboll. Daboll's like hand-picked guy. Like they scouted all the quarterbacks. That's the guy Brian wanted. Obviously, it's not going to be Brian. He's been fired. So they have to find somebody that can build him up and iron out the stuff that needs to be ironed out. And so I don't know, is that Kevin Stefanski? If the Browns let him go, who are the offensive,
You know what?
Yeah.
Here's a name to keep an eye on. Who's the assistant head coach in Chicago right now that Ben Johnson brought with him from Detroit? Antoine Randall L. Just remember that name. Remember the name J.T. Barrett, another guy, the quarterback coach in Chicago, who we said would be one of the most critical people on that entire staff, because he's the go-between, right, between Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Those are names you got to start thinking about, because you're going to start picking from that tree. Ben Johnson, everything he touches is going to turn to gold right now.
Just like Sean McVay.
Start thinking about that.
Let me just say this. Don't overlook defensive coach. Mike Vrabel's done a pretty good job getting Josh McDaniels
I'm not saying.
So it does not have to be you have to get your guy as an offensive coordinator or another coach. Doesn't have to be the head coach.
Get him as Josh McDaniels.
Exactly.
Even if it's
get
not
him
the
help.
head
It
coach.
doesn't have to be the head coach.
Last one, sticking with the theme of quarterback patience, the Vikings should move on from J.J. McCarthy. Definitely or definitely not?
Strong on this. Definitely not yet. So strong to quite strong, like Graz's portfolio. Here's the thing. You have to go get someone behind him that really helps, okay? And so that if he does, he's missed a ton of time, y'all. Missed a season last year. Obviously, he's been banged up. Availability, especially at that position, has to be there. You can't get better. You can't find a rhythm when you're not playing. So make sure you get a good backup just in case he goes through this again.
Look, I think he has the people in-house there with Kevin, with Josh McCown, who can help get him right.
Yeah.
Okay, this offseason is going to be like, let's deconstruct and then reconstruct you here.
Right.
It's especially as far as your mechanics, making sure that you're calm in the pocket, that you're confident in terms of your delivery mechanism. Like everything, they're going to reset this young man.
Yeah.
They are not going to, you cannot throw in the towel on him. And I get it. Some of the things look bad. I mean, you cannot have in your starts right now with one of the baddest dudes at wide receiver that this league has ever seen, and you haven't hooked up with him yet for a touchdown. Right. That can't happen. That cannot happen. But I still believe in this young man's talent. I know he catches a lot of flack for a lot of the other stuff that he does, you know, the Anakin
9.
Skywalker. I get it. I get all that.
9.
Everybody has their thing. Everybody's got their
JJ
thing.
McCarthy needs to play, not 9. Let's
Yeah,
go.
you're
Please.
right.
That guy.
But patience, man.
Well,
He's going to
Give it
miss
time.
time. 3 different stints this season with
Yeah.
3 different injuries. Like, the injury concern is how high right now?
Obviously it's very high until he proves us wrong, right? Matthew Stafford had injuries early in his career, and then he was an Iron Man for a decade.
Yeah.
So it can be done. 2 things, right? If you are going to preach patience here, you better preach it to Justin Jefferson and get him on board, because he has been the good soldier through a miserable season.
Yeah.
And number 2, you got to back it up better than you did this year. Carson Wentz was fine for a little while, but then they literally nothing. Right, Brosmer, an undrafted rookie, right, who's going to start again. So they have to make sure and address that backup position in a more reliable way.
Yes, without
Do
a
you
doubt.
think Jefferson should want out of Minnesota?
Ooh, Jefferson-y not.
A bonus one.
That was really well done.
I like that. No, if I'm him, look, it's not always, you got to get everybody else around him going. The dude's an absolute beast. So, no, I would stay where you are, get McCarthy going right with him, figure this thing out. Again, long term, this thing could be a thing of beauty. You trust KOC if you're him, understanding for whatever reason, it just hasn't hit with McCarthy yet. But to lose point, listen, players over plays, and all the great ones say it. When moments matter, find that guy. The problem you got to find that guy, but you got to build a relationship with him. That's what must happen with Jeff.
With some QB question marks, Jeff, we start with you. Is Tua still a starter in the NFL?
No, I don't think so. I think it's run its course, and you saw kind of the regression that he's had there in Miami, then moving on to Quinn Ewers, and unfortunately, I think the injuries just kind of ended up catching up and having an effect long term on it. But you saw that performance against Pittsburgh, man, throwing out beach balls out there. You just can't. In the NFL, it's tough to win with that.
Graz, time for them to part ways, or do the financials make it too difficult?
The financials make it pretty difficult. He's got $54 million guaranteed salary next year, and if they cut him, it's a $99 million dead cap hit. So if you're going to do that, you better be real strong on the rest of your roster, and you better have another quarterback plan in place. Denver did it with Russell Wilson. I don't think this Miami team's in that kind of shape.
Lewis, you were talking about patience earlier with quarterbacks. It's been a while for Tua. Should we still have some patience with this guy?
You know what? If you look at his game against Buffalo like a month ago, and you see some of the throws he makes in that football game, you're sitting there going, "Where did that Tua go? Like where? Like it's so up and down right now that look, you just can't win with that. You can't count on it, but it's there." And then, there's the whole cold weather aspect of it, of whether or not he has to be in a particular climate. Those are the kind of things that eventually lead you to becoming not a starter, but becoming like a bridge starter.
Right.
And then becoming a backup, and then becoming unemployed and retired and working on a desk like this.
Yeah.
that's what starts
Which
to
ain't
happen.
bad, by the way.
No, it's not.
This is like a bad gig.
Stop, bro.
Hey, guy who did it a long time.
Hey, this is a good life. It's a good life. But I'm just saying,
$54 million.
I'm just saying, it has started to trend that way for him, and I hate that because I'm a Tua believer. And I do believe that he is one of the most talented throwers of the football, that we've seen. And when he was on it, he was on it. But it has really, it just doesn't look the same. There's just seems like something's off. It's just not the same anymore.
Louis Riddick, card-carrying member of TuaNon, which is a big thing.
I was a part of it. I was a part of it. I admit it.
All right, so let's keep it moving. Louis, we'll stay with you. Joe Burrow, should he push to get out of Cincinnati?
Joe, I have to put my glasses on to read what Hembo sent me about this because, look, I believe he should push to get out of there, but this kind of crystallizes it for me. Since ESPN began tracking, pass blocking success in 2017, Burrow is the only quarterback whose team has lost more than half of his pass block reps as a starter among 44 quarterbacks with 40-plus starts over that span.
Is that good?
Look, I mean, subjectively, you can look at it and see it. This guy was one throw away from winning a Super Bowl, but why didn't they win it? Because he got blasted by Aaron Donald because his offensive guard lost his pass block rep.
Right.
He has taken such a beating since he's come in there. And I understand that he openly politicked and advocated for his guys to get paid.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. But he just, we've all seen it. We've all seen what his body language has been like. We have all seen the words that he's been using lately. If I were him, I'd be like, I'm sorry. I got to get out of here.
But he's also talked openly about it, like his role in how they run the offense and how he prefers the straight drop back stuff with everybody out in the routes and all that. He has kind of admitted that some of the protection issues are as a result of a system that he prefers to play in.
Yeah.
No, that may not be the wisest.
Well, I'll tell you
and
this,
I think going forward, they may need to make some changes to that.
If you're going to play that way, if you want that, if you just want 5 blockers, and that's it. You don't want to keep anybody in.
Yeah.
You better get 5 better blockers.
Right.
Okay, because they're still getting beat.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
The issue is that it's an impossibility. Like that system of getting 5 out, doing all this, having 5 guys block. You're never going to be that good, especially for a pretty stationary QB. Not that he's not athletic enough to, but he's a stationary guy. He can maneuver in the pocket. He doesn't want to play outside of it. So as a offensive coordinator, the head coach, whatever you want to put Zach to, at some point you have to protect him against himself. No, we're not going to get that out. We'll have the back run an angle after he sits in and make sure the edges are good, or make sure he's blocking inside. There's a lot you can do to help a quarterback help himself. He's got 2 dudes on the outside and a really good tight end. That's 3 guys you can help with protections. This whole idea of scat protection every time, I don't care how good you are as an offensive lineman. They're better than you. You're blocking backwards against the best athletes in the world. Doesn't happen.
The thing. They've used resources on the line. They've used first-round picks on the line. They've used free agent money on the line. It's not that they've ignored it.
Yes.
They've just built something that isn't working.
There's a saying that says, do not mistake activity for achievement.
Understood.
All right.
Okay? A lot of activity.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just contributed a little something right there.
We liked it.
Made a little
Dynamite
bit of a point.
Dynamite
Okay,
drop
good.
in. QB question marks moves on. Graz, this one's for you. Should the Ravens extend Lamar Jackson?
I say yes, but I don't think I can say definitely yes. I think that there's a case to be made, and I think if you're the Ravens, who are a good, circumspect organization, you sit and you have a conversation. He's got 2 years left on his contract. The cap number goes up to almost $75 million. We need to extend him to get that down. If we extend him, we're committing to how many more years of this?
Yeah.
He's been hurt. We haven't gotten, even when he's been healthy, we haven't gotten where we want to go with him. I think there's a conversation. I would not just take the rubber stamp and put it on a contract extension. I say yes because I'm a fan of the guy, and I'm just not sure how you're going to replace him. Yeah. But I can see the argument for, hey, is this the right way for us to build our team going forward?
Yeah, look, I'm with you, man. Look, I think they're in a tough spot. They're in a tough spot. You definitely want the salary cap relief, okay? And you don't want to carry that big number into 2026. But at the same time, you don't want to tick off the player because, look, this is a guy who negotiates his own contract. He's a multiple-time MVP. We know he's one of the most unique weapons in the entire NFL. And quite honestly, this is what it always funnels down to. What's your next best alternative if you trade Lamar Jackson? Because if you trade him, an organization that has been set up, and John Harbaugh has told me and others who have been in production meetings with him personally, the whole organization was set up to support Lamar. And if you remove him, you're not retooling anymore. You're rebuilding. You're starting over. And I don't know if Steve Bisciotti really wants to do that right now. I can't speak for him. This is a tough situation. I understand both sides of this, and I hate using that terminology, but this is something where it's probably going to take all off season, and we'll talk about it a lot.